Hello, World Wide Web. We are still here at Magic City Comic Con in Miami, Florida, and we are hanging with Chang, who is the artist responsible for this entire collection behind us here. Nen, thanks for hanging with us.
No problem. It's nice to hang with you too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So tell us, first of all, let's start. When did you start producing your own art?
Well, I started working professionally right out of high school when I was 18.
Wow.
And I started out doing like lowbrow gallery showings, like doing more fine art related work before I progressed into doing character design for games and then into comic book covers currently.
Wow, these are fantastic pieces,
Well,
by the
thank
way.
you.
Do you have a preference as to how you like to create your art?
Yeah, I mean, everything that I do is all traditional media, so it's all watercolor.
Okay.
I know a lot of people these days are doing a lot of digital art, so it's more rare to see people doing like things with like real paint. So I think that's probably why I stand out to stuff.
Well, the 12-foot wall doesn't hurt.
A little bit, that helps.
That doesn't hurt at all. So you started out, you said, doing gallery showings and things like that.
Yes.
More traditional pieces.
Mhm.
And then you worked up to, what are some of your favorite pieces here?
Some of my favorite pieces are like this painting here, Last Stand, which is a piece that I did for a card game called Legend of the Five Rings.
Okay.
And that's a relatively recent contract that should be picking up again in 2017, I think. And then I also like some of the stuff that I've done for a couple of Game of Thrones art book. I did a piece for the Game of Thrones HBO Compendium art book, and then I also did one for an independent art book called Drawn with the Pointy End.
Well, I take it that you are not new to the con scene.
No, I've been doing this for a long time.
For a very long time?
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite experiences coming out and talking to fans and meeting people here at the cons?
I guess this doesn't really happen to a lot of people from what I understand, but people come to my table and they cry.
They cry.
Yeah.
I hope that's a good thing.
It's kind of a good thing. I guess the work that I produced when I first started working professionally in like gallery showings and stuff, it's a lot of like really visceral kind of like gut-wrenching work. And the period that I did it in, I connected with an audience that was like still in high school, I guess. So now that they've grown up, they remember these pieces like staying with them for their developmental years and stuff like that. And they come and they meet me and they cry.
Well, that's a pretty cool feeling. That's got to be a really cool feeling.
It's definitely a cool thing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, no, I don't know how to deal with your earnest emotion. I don't. But it's definitely
Draw it, because this is some amazing work. Where can folks on the World Wide Web find your art?
You can most find me on Facebook at facebook.com/INCAPAX.
Outstanding. Well, thanks for hanging with
No
us, Nen.
problem.
Good
Thanks for
luck
hanging
at the
with
show
me.
this weekend, and
Of
we'll
course.
see you a little later on this weekend. We'll
All
see
right,
how
cool.
you're doing, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, World Wide Web. We are hanging with Allen Bellman at Magic City Comic Con in Miami, Florida this weekend. Allen has been an artist drawing Marvel characters for a very long time. Allen, how long have you been drawing characters?
Characters. I started at the age of about 7.
Wow. When did you start professionally drawing?
I saw an ad in the New York Times. They wanted a background artist for Captain America. I said to my dad, I'll go tomorrow. It was Columbus Day. He said, you go today. To make a long story short, we went back and forth. And he won. I went up. I got the job in about 10 minutes. Don Rico, who did the Young Allies, came out, took my work in. About 10 minutes later, he came out. He says he start Monday.
Wow. What a great... So what year was that?
1942.
1942, drawn as a background artist for Captain America.
Yes, right.
That is fantastic. What are some of the favorite, your favorite art that you've done in your professional career?
Well, I've worked on Human Torch. I worked on Submariner. And at that time, we did war stories, crime stories, horror stories. I love doing horror stories because I really put my heart in those skeletons hanging on. I did Jet Dixon of the Space Squad. I did just about everything Stanley asked me to do.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. And so the con circuit is nothing new to you. I'll bet you've been around a long time and sharing your work with some of these young people. And so what are some of your favorite memories of working here with the fans when they come and see you?
Well, at my tender age of 91, I love giving back. Giving back they keep me out of the rocking chair.
Absolutely.
And what just, it's more than money can buy, is the friendship and the warmth that I get from fans.
You know what? We're so happy that you're here.
Can I say one word
You
before
sure
I
can,
go?
please.
Let's be nice to each other. We cannot be everyone's friend, but let's try. Please. Thank you.
What an amazing life you must have had, though, working with such other amazing artists and creating iconic backgrounds and characters.
Well, I did my own penciling and inking afterwards.
Wow.
They gave me my own scripts. Sure.
Fantastic. Now, what do you got out here at the con? What are you showing folks this weekend?
What I do now?
Uh-huh.
What I do now, and I don't cream them for price.
Yeah.
They keep me out of the rocking chair.
They keep you out of the rocking chair,
And God bless them all, really.
Well, I'm glad that they do, and I'm glad that we had a chance to talk with you, Allen, because it's not every day that anybody gets to hang with a legend. And we are hanging with Allen Bellman, who is a comic artist and a graphic artist from the golden age of comics, having worked on such classics as Captain America and the Submariner, and of course the Human Torch, and so many more pieces here that you've got. And so anybody who's walking around here, we've been hanging with Allen Bellman. Come on by and hang with Allen and see what he's got here to offer, and hang with a living legend. Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back. You are watching Hangin' With. I'm GW Pomichter. We are at Magic City Comic Con in Miami, Florida, and we're kind of stay dry in here.
Yeah, it's pouring out.
Yeah, a little bit. And we are want to start out, as we normally do, by thanking some of our partners: Something Unique Magazine, Books, Chocolate, and Wine. Of course, the folks from the Florida Book News and Authors for Author have been helping us out a lot. And the folks from Wordfire Press, who invited us in this weekend from the wet, cold outside, and let us sit and hang with some of these fantastic creators, authors, and artists. We are here hanging with Amy Grachow, is that right? Okay.
Exactly.
And Amy, you write children's books,
That's
and
correct.
this is actually a series, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And it's this is What Does the Slog Do? And this one on the planet named Up in the Sky. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and there's another one coming out.
Yep.
Okay. And when is that due out?
That should be printed within the next couple of months. And
Oh,
it's going to be called Above a Planet, named Up in the Sky.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Now, let's kind of start at the beginning. What inspired you to write children's books?
Well, I was about ready to retire, and my son Keith, who's an artist in Toronto, Canada, was worried that I'd be a couch potato and sit and watch TV all day. I don't know why you think that. But he said, Mom, what would you think about doing a children's book together? You know, he's done graphic novels and other comic books and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But he'd never done a children's book. So I said, well, as long as we don't have a falling out over it, as long as we get along, I'm willing to try. And so I just figured I would base it on a planet, outside our normal Earth planet, where things are upside down and inside out, and all kinds of interesting characters like Slog the Slurpant and Cecil the Smale, who delivers mail with a whirligig, and pink jellyfish clouds. And
Now, where did the ideas come from for these wonderful characters?
well, the first one, it kind of came out of my head, but my son is also very imaginative, and it's hard to say who thinks of what, because we go back and forth a lot. And from what I tell him, what I write, he imagines what the characters are going to look like. So it's really a collaboration between the two of us, but I write it like a poem. It all rhymes. And I send it to him up in Canada, or we talk on the phone, or we visit each other. And as the months go by with each of these books, we kind of, tighten it and change things a little and tweak it until, comes out a finished product. And we publish it ourselves.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. What a terrific way to get to spend that time with your son too.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
to share that experience.
It is.
And,
And I think
that's got to
it's-
be amazing.
I think it's really improved our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's really no ego because we both want, what's best for the finished product.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I have to cut a character or if I have to change lines, I'm okay with that because I know, it's for the best. And we have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
We
I
really
believe
do.
it. I believe it.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of creating a new world.
Exactly.
And you're doing it for children, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that's one of the things that sort of drew us, to you, is that, here at Comic-Con, and most people think of kind of the older teens and young 20s and that the action crowd and things like
Right.
that. But you're introducing, the little guys to creating and to new worlds and to new ways of thinking.
Exactly.
And that's really kind of amazing. How have your books been received by the moms and the kids out there when you talk to them?
It's been good. We've been doing this for about 3 years now, since
Mhm.
the first one came out. And people have bought the first book, and then they see us at the next con, and they see we put out another book, and they say, oh, and they come over and they buy the second book because their children like the first one.
That's neat.
So,
Dr.
yeah.
Seuss for the sci-fi crowd.
Exactly. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, a lot of people think it's very similar, and there seems to be a niche for it because
That is
people walk
great.
around with their little ones, and there's really nothing for them at Comic-Cons, really.
Yeah.
And this, is very appropriate.
It is. It's fantastic. Now these are set in a fantasy world.
Correct.
Okay, and you've kind of created some neat little creatures here, and your son's an amazing artist, by the
Thank
way.
you.
This is
Yeah,
this is
he really-
fantastic.
he is.
And they're all great. They're all very friendly,
Mm-hmm.
little kid friendly to look at. It's
Right.
nothing terribly scary.
Correct. And each one has a moral or a little story. This one is about Slog, who at first is a little scary to the kids until they get to know him and they imagine what he might do at night, like he's a chef or he's a rock star or he's a cowboy, and all these different scenarios.
Mhm.
And by the end, they feel that they know him well, and so they all become friends.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
so
neat.
that's-
It's kind of
that's that one.
a story about learning about people
Mhm.
and
Not judging.
not judging. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
kind of neat. What's amazing is that the older kids that are here at the cons, so much of what fantasy and sci-fi is about is dealing with those issues that face every person in every society
Right.
in a very non-threatening way, because we can
Yeah.
deal with them in a fantasy environment. And it's a great way to introduce children to those same concepts in a very simplified way, but still
Mhm.
dealing with the same complicated concepts.
Yeah, that's very well said.
You guys
Thank
have you guys have really done a great job of shortening it and short and sweet, so that the younger guys won't get lost in the pages and the page count, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, and how many cons have you been coming to?
This is probably about our 9th or 10th. We do a lot in the local area. We do SuperCon and Miami Book Fair.
Awesome.
My son does all the ones up in Canada, where he lives
Wow.
in Toronto, and we also travel, other places. We're going to meet him in Indianapolis in a few months.
Wow.
And he's going out to Portland to do one there. So
So you get to work with your son
yes,
and travel the country. There's nothing slowing. He was right. There's
Yeah.
no way you're
It-
ever
it
going to
keeps
be a
me-
couch potato.
keeps me busy in my retirement. And my husband helps out too. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of a family
Yeah.
activity.
Exactly.
That is a really, really wonderful thing to do. Now, other than finding you at a Comic-Con, can we find these books out on the internet or out in the world? Where can
Yeah,
we find your
it's-
books?
It would be at our Facebook page, which
Okay.
is just On a Planet Named Up in the Sky,
On a planet named up in the sky.
right?
Okay.
Or my son's web page, which is just www.kgrachow.com.
.kgrachow.com.
Right.
Okay. Well, go on over there, folks, on the World Wide Web, and check out www.kgrachow.com and take a look at the Up in the Sky. Really, it's an Up in the Sky series.
Correct.
Because it all takes place in about the same universe, and we get to watch different characters interact in each one. The first two are out there already. It's What Does the Slog?
What does Slog do?
What does Slog do? and On a Planet Named Up in the Sky. And the third one is due out soon, and that will be
Above a Planet Named Up in
Above
the
a
Sky.
Planet Named Up in the Sky. And you can catch those on the web. Also, look up On a Planet Named Up in the Sky on Facebook.
Correct.
And get these great books. And if you're a sci-fi fantasy lover already, there's no better way to introduce your children to this kind of a universe and to the complex issues that they're going to face than by simplifying it and bringing it down into their vernacular. So if you get a chance, check out A Planet Up in the Sky. We're going to wrap it up here. I'm G.W. Pomichter, and we want to thank our partners at Something Unique Magazine, Books, Chocolate, and Wine, Authors for Authors, the Florida Book News, and of course the fellows down there at Wordfire Press. Keep coming back. We've been hanging with Amy Grachow, and I'm G.W. Pomichter once again. Thanks for hanging with us. Tune in, log on, and see who we're hanging with next.